In this episode of the UX Tea Break, I look at UX maturity. This question comes from a couple of people, from Jot Mitra, who asks, what can you do to help level up a company's UX maturity? And from Deal Gabriel Deliera, I hope I got your name right there, Deal, who asks, what's the UX maturity progression secret sauce? And it's interesting, isn't it? I think the way that question is asked is it implies there's kind of one thing that if only you knew what it was, you could apply it to your company and it would level up and it would suddenly become much more UX mature. Well, you won't be surprised to hear me say that, well, it's not as simple as that. And the reason it's not as simple as that is, like most things in user experience, it depends on context. It really depends on what level your organization's at the moment, according to what you should do next. In fact, some of the things that you would want to do could be the opposite of what you might do, depending on how mature your organization is. Let me give you some examples. Let's start off crudely and say at the bottom level, we've got an organization with no UX maturity whatsoever. They can't even spell UX. And at the top, we've got an organization that's much more mature in user experience, and it's embedded in every company and organization decision that they make. Now, your organization sits somewhere between those two extremes. If you're on the bottommost level, then you'll know that because there won't be a UX role in your organization. At best, you might have a role like UI designer. And the problem there is that it will never be embedded in that organization, user experience, and that's because the organization doesn't have a need for it yet. Perhaps they produce a product that is so in demand for one reason or another that things like usability haven't become an issue for it. Maybe there's no competitors for it at the moment. But it will become important when a product's released and for some reason it's panned or it gets returned by customers because they've not understood some of the fundamental usability problems that they needed to solve. That's when you can start on the UX progression, because at that point you can run a usability test, find the problems, get them fixed, and then that will help the organization level up, and immediately they'll see benefits from the work that you've done. Once that's happened, the idea is you would build a team of people, but what you would be continuing to do is more and more usability testing. You'd build a team up. Basically, it's a team of usability testers. And that team will have a manager that's leading the team and handling work. And you'll also have a usability lab. That usability lab will be partly used for running usability tests, but it will also be used to expose VIPs who come around to view the organization, to show them how user-centered you are. Look at the laboratory we use for studying users and customers, for example. Now, in order to get to the next level, you need to take that team that's become a centralized, basically a consulting unit, and break it up. What you now need to do is get each of those individual people not working together as in a usability group, but now working independently within the agile teams within the organization. And that way, each team has some UX experience within it. Now, initially, that person will be making sure that that agile team's product goes through a range of iterative design and usability testing. But what that person can then do, and this is where they help the organization level up, is they can tell the team, well, you know, there's some other things that we can do in user experience as well that go beyond usability testing, and those things help you understand users' needs for a product. They can help you come up with innovative ideas. And that way you can start doing field visits, and the team then sees the benefits of doing field research, and they see that as part of user experience as well. Once you've got to that level, after that, the next stage is to start getting it into the organization's processes and all of the decisions that they make. But that's a long journey from going from the bottommost level to a point where an organization is doing regular field visits. I hope you found that useful. Please leave a comment if you did, and also if you have any questions that you want me to answer in future Tea Break videos, please post those below as well.